Welcome to a new video and a new experiment somehow. Those people who follow the Techview podcast a little bit longer know that it started as an audio podcast, a German-speaking audio podcast, and usually each week I was releasing an audio. But the last couple of years, and especially this year, it was like less and less audio, so not every week one audio. And more and more focus on my YouTube channel because I get more response, more feedback from there, and more downloads and clicks as well. So it's more interesting for people, especially also because the language is, I think, a different one. It's English here instead of German. So this is why I get more feedback, more responses. So I'm trying to get some kind of weekly tech news and what's new in this channel for Techview podcast kind of video out here. Maybe not each week, but every week I feel like it makes sense to get something done. And sorry for the nasal kind of voice. I still have a little bit of hay fever going on here, and I'm using a little bit of tea here to make my throat a little bit wet, so it feels a little bit better. So from my notes, I have my notes here on the side. My trusty MatePad 11 from Huawei. I can put it also down here so you don't see it so much. I have some notes. Usually what I do each week for the audio podcast is do some notes. I'm not always getting to do the audio podcast for some reason, because it's also like I have to cut stuff and so on, get the intro done, get the outro done. It's a bit of like work that I really don't want to do. And it's much easier just talking into the camera, releasing on YouTube, and I don't have to deal with uploading it to a server and getting the notes ready and so on. Just getting it on YouTube and you can take a look at it. So what I want to talk about right now, some of the topics that I see here that I wrote in the notes, otherwise it would be wasted time that I note them down. And then we will talk a little bit about what's going on with the channel, what can you expect in terms of videos, smartphones, reviews, and so on. So let's get started. First of all, there was like a payment issue in Germany last weeks actually. Some terminals, some POS terminals just were not working anymore, and it turns out lots and lots of companies were using those outdated POS terminals that actually I think ended their support in 2018. So you can see Germany is a very modern country. No, the issue with those POS terminals is first of all that the company itself said, okay, we extended the warranty until I think 2025 or 2023 or something like this. And the issue was that they issued an update that should address an outdated certificate problem that might occur in May 2022 in December, I think shortly before Christmas, December 2021. And of course, most of the companies did not install this update. And all of those companies who did not install this update ran into this issue that the certificate was not valid anymore, and so they could not connect their POS terminals to their servers. And to make matters worse, they could also not easily update the system because the certificate was outdated already. So some managed to circumvent it by setting the date to a previous date, so they still could get the update. Others just had to wait for the company to send someone out with a USB stick. Don't have a USB stick here, but with a USB stick to just update those terminals. Yeah, modern times we're living in, eh? So it would be very interesting to know if you in your country still have some issues like this, and figure something out. Then you know that I'm usually talking about smartphones, and there's one interesting smartphone that came out a couple of weeks ago, I think actually 2 weeks ago. It's a Google free smartphone. No, it's not running iOS, which is also usually Google free. It's something for privacy lovers, something for people who don't trust Google or Apple with their data, who put their trust more in open source, free software, such things. The Murena One, this is how it's called, comes with EOS. This is /E/OS. And it costs only around 350 euros, which is pretty interesting and pretty interesting phone. I can show you shortly how it looks like. It looks like a modern phone. It's not like looking like a phone from a few years ago. So it has some various different camera lenses on the front, on the back, on the front punch hole camera as well. So looking relatively modern like all the other flagships. It's more kind of like competitor to the Fairphone, if you know this one. And it's interesting because it's like based on EOS. It's their own operating system that they created, a Google free operating system with their own kind of services, free and open source services that you can trust because the source code is available and without privacy issues. It comes with a 6.53-inch IPS display, so it's not AMOLED display, 4 gigabytes of RAM. This is a little bit weak, I would say. I would expect for 350 euros at least 6 gigabytes of RAM. But it has the possibility also for a RAM extension via the microSD card, which is ROM extension actually, not RAM extension. Of course, you can do RAM extension as well, like we have swap files, but you have a ROM extension via microSD card, which is pretty handy. Not many smartphones offer this. 128 gigabytes of internal memory, and you can upgrade it with a microSD card. What's a little bit of a bummer for those people who have already a 5G SIM card, it's not supported in this one here, which is like a little bit of a bummer. Then we have a 3x back camera, 48 megapixels the main camera. The front houses a 25 megapixel camera, super interesting, in a punch hole as I saw it. And the battery features 4,500 milliampere hours. It comes with EOS V1, this is how it's called, the first version, based upon Android 10, so it's a little bit of an older version. It's based upon Android open source, or Lineage OS, I would say, and comes without Google services and is using alternatives, just like, for example, the Murena Cloud, which is, I think, something based upon Nextcloud in a fork manner. So they are using lots and lots of open source tools. They are cloning those, forking those, adapting and adjusting this for their own operating system, which is pretty interesting. So, for example, they have their own web browser, that's, I think, based on Chromium, and they have their own OpenStreetMaps map application, which is, I think, based upon, how's it called? This one, of course, my smartphone is recording right now. This one app that can do pretty nice navigation things. I can tell you, Magic Earth. I think it's based on Magic Earth, which I think is in part proprietary, which is interesting. So they're basing this on Magic Earth. A fake, I don't know. You can write down in the comments if you know a little bit better about this. And yeah, The Verge is reporting about this. They are having their own app launch, app store as well. As a competitor to Google's App Store, and they're using Micro G for the whole Google integration. That means like Maps and, for example, if you want to log into Google or have to log into Google. It's pretty interesting. End of 2022, this will come, end of June 2022, it will come out. 350 euros, 346 euros to be precise, which is pretty interesting, I would say. So very interesting idea from them. The next one is BYD cars. So BYD is a Chinese manufacturer for electronic cars, and they have some interesting idea now how to place batteries. They're putting it into the chassis, into the, usually you put batteries into a specific place, and they build it into the construction of the car itself as something that holds the construction. Of course, this means they have to have some special material, and they have to have some other kind of battery cells. They're using LFP cells, blade batteries, they call it, platform 3.0. And these LFP cells can produce 800 volt, and cell to body is, I think, the term that they're using here. And it allows them to build this into the chassis. You can see it here in the picture as well, which is pretty interesting. So it's part of the car. The battery is part of the car. It's not only for powering the car, it's part of the car as well. So they can save a little bit of weight. And this helps, of course, the car's longevity when it comes to driving, because the lighter it is, the longer you can ride, which is drive. This is pretty cool. So BYD, keep it on your radar as well. And then we have the WWDC. So Apple had some new stuff. iOS is coming out in a new version. I have a phone here that is running iOS. You can see, just got it. It's a what is it? iPhone XS, I think. So this is like a 2018 flagship from Apple. I will do a short review on this one, definitely. And I have another 2018 flagship, which is the Sony Xperia Xz2 Premium, and I will give you also a nice little video review of this in the coming weeks. The videos are already out. Not out, the videos are already cut. so they just have to get out at the specific time. Especially the cameras are very interesting here, and maybe I will do even a comparison in terms of speed and cameras of those two old flagships. Why do I got those old flagships? First of all, this was on sale and it was like under 200 euros, so I was very interested in getting this one here because it would fit nice for my collection. And the other one I got actually because of iOS 15 is the current version. iOS 16 will be the new version with some new features, which is interesting, a new lock screen. So currently we have this lock screen here, pretty boring. There will be a new lock screen with widgets coming. But overall, I think the iOS updates are a little bit like on the weaker side here and there. I'm not sure what you think about this, but it's not my favorite when it comes to this. What they showed there as updates is like a little bit of gimmicks here and there, but no major breakthrough when it comes to this. iPadOS should get like multitasking now, better window management, but it seems to be, in the first demos at least, a little bit restricted as well. And what people want is basically macOS on iPadOS, but on iPad basically, but they're not getting it. And Apple is trying to circumvent that and building some kind of window management system that can be used on iPadOS and macOS, but it doesn't get me. It feels a little bit alien to me, I have to say. I'm not sure what you think about it. Write it down in the comment section. Should Apple just ditch this Stage Manager, I think it's called now, and just get the normal macOS kind of window management for iPadOS users? Then we have also the new Apple MacBook Air with a new M2 chip. The M2 chip is basically a small little update for the M1 chip, but the price update is pretty significant, from $1,000 or euros up to 1,500 euros here in Germany. I think it's only $1,200 in the United States, which is a bit of weird as well, but inflation and some other taxes maybe play a role here as well. Otherwise, yeah, it is a bit of a bummer, I would say. 1,500 euros is a bit too much in my opinion. What do you think about this? Are you interested in the Apple MacBook Air with a redesign and a new Mac M2 chip? Would be pretty interesting to know. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, there will videos be coming of those two. First of all, the Xperia Xz2 Premium. I did a small review about this one, and also camera review about this one. This one also will get probably a camera review and maybe a small review in comparison with the Xz2. This is coming. I have the Honor Earbuds 3 Pro. I have the Sony LinkBuds S still here, and there will be coming the Earbuds 3 Pro against the Huawei FreeBuds Pro as well. There will be coming a video about these two here, because it's interesting for people to know which one is better. Are the Huawei FreeBuds still better than Honor, or is Honor overtaking Huawei in the audio department as well? Because they did already, I think, in China especially, in the smartphone department. Yeah, talking about the pluses and minuses of those devices. And yeah, maybe I will do a retest of the LinkBuds S after all the updates. I got, I think, one update already that improved a little bit of things here in terms of audio connection. Still, I think it needs to be updated here and there. Maybe I will do some other in-ear. Some people asked me about the EVA 2020s that I showed you in my video about the LinkBuds S. Maybe I can do another re-review of them as well. They didn't get any firmware update, they still don't have any app, but about the company itself and maybe other products that might be interesting to take a look at. Yeah, if you have some suggestions what I should test in terms of earbuds, for example, true wireless ones or even wired ones. Here I have my TNT2s, for example, but I have also some Final Audio A4000s and Final EVA 2020's wired headsets as well. I think I did a review last year as well, but you can write it down in the comment section as well. Otherwise, that's basically it. This is my plan currently, what I'm doing. I did not forget about it's a bit far away, the Honor Magic 4 Ultimate. I'm still occupied with this here and the other one. But I will do a video update about this if there's something major updating there as well. On my to-do list, my virtual to-do list currently in my head, is maybe a section where I can show you how to tweak the video to make it a bit more pleasant to the eye, a little bit more less colorful, a little bit better looking, just like the Sony Xperia Pro I that I'm using here for recording in terms of colors. So to make the colors a little bit better, I can give you a little nice tutorial about this when I have time, when I find time about this as well. Otherwise, this is basically everything for this short little video. What do you think about those summaries, about stuff that happened in the week and stuff that I'm working on currently that will come out in the next couple of weeks? And one spoiler at the end, the Xperia One Mark IV. I think it should arrive next week, end of next week, and maybe I can do some tests and unboxings and so on. And as soon as I have it, I will do an unboxing video about it. I will do some quick look like I usually do. And then, of course, comparison with the Xperia One Mark III, with the Pro I maybe as well, and such things will occur as well. What's on the to-do list as well is the Xperia X Mark IV. This will come out next month, I think, start of next month. And then I will do some video about this as well. That's basically it for this short little video. Short, it's like 15 minutes, 16 minutes already. What do you think about this format? Just write it down in the comment section. And for those people who are wondering if I will cancel the audio podcast, it's just an experiment right now. I'm not sure if I will cancel my German-speaking audio podcast. It all depends on if people really like this format a little bit better, where I'm in front of the camera showing something that I have here in my hands that will occur in my next videos, and talking a little bit about topics that I wrote down from this week that I might find interesting. So what do you think about this format? Write it down in the comment section. That is basically everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Wish you a nice little happy Sunday still. And that's everything for this video. Until the next time. Bye.